Hunting the Shadows. Good evening out there, fellow shadow hunters. This is your humble host, Dennis Carroll, and this is episode 28 of Hunting the Shadows. Good to have you aboard tonight. It's a cold spring night out there, dark and windy. Perfect night for us to get together and have a good conversation. I want to welcome everybody coming in. Mike Jones, the girl in the gong, Mary, and Shiro, and my good brother Middle West. And we've got Ann and, of course, Crystal. And we're slowly gathering in here. It's time to get on the strange train and take a little trip, okay? We're going to be talking about some interesting stuff tonight. And one thing we're going to be talking about is the shape of things to come. Times of darkness ahead. We're going to be talking about that. That's along with the eclipse that's coming up Monday. We're going to be talking about that. And some other stuff that goes on with that too. I might even recap that on the 3 days of darkness. I did mention that on my last show, the 3 days of darkness we talked about. That's interesting as well. So we're going to talk about times of darkness, how they affect the world around us, the seen and the unseen. Definitely. Hello there. My good friend Mike Jones, good to have you here, bud. Russell, hello, Russell. Good to have you aboard, son. Absolutely. Get on the train. We're going to take a trip down the highway to high strangeness. Definitely. I've got my Hunting the Shadows cozy out here. And we're ready to go wet my whistle a little bit here. And I've got some interesting things to talk about. Now, this is going to be the last regular show of Hunting the Shadows for a couple of weeks, okay? Because next week at this time, well, before this time, actually, at 8 o'clock, we will be having another seminar. That's right. Yes, sir, folks. We're going to be having another seminar, and it's called How to Hunt the Shadows. And that'll be at 8 o'clock next Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, 2-hour seminar. I'm going to even get out the old whiteboard here, the marker board. Got it ready, warmed up and ready to go here. Got it ready. Going to be teaching out of this book right here for you, Beyond the Shadows. Going to be teaching the whole seminar out of this, okay? So you're going to definitely, and I'm going to be adding some stuff that's not even in this book, okay? So there you go. It's kind of an update to the book that hasn't been published yet. And you're going to be the first to get a hold of this, okay? Definitely. Hello, Millie. Sweet Pea. And I think we're going to find it very interesting. We're going to take a lot of different tactics on how to investigate, not just from your armchair, but from in the field, definitely. And different ways to investigate. That's what we're going to be. That's what we're going to be covering next week, and then the week after that, another 2-hour seminar at 8 o'clock Wednesday night. This will be the week after that. How to fight the shadows, and I'm going to be giving a 2-hour seminar talk on how to protect yourself from the darkness, the spiritual darkness in this world. Also, maybe even some of the physical darkness. Okay, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Hello, Juno, and you certainly want to get in. You certainly want to get in on this one here: how to hunt the shadows. That's why we're called shadow hunters. We got to learn how to hunt, and we got to do it successfully and do it where it's more of an advantage to us than to a disadvantage. You know, if you go into anything with a disadvantage, it's never going to turn out good, usually. Okay. So you want to be, you want to have a leg up in the saddle, as John Wayne used to say. You want to definitely, as the Boy Scouts say, be prepared. You know, I never was a Boy Scout. I kind of like the Girl Scouts myself. But anyway, yeah, I'd rather hang out with the Girl Scouts. They were a lot more fun. Anyway, you got to be prepared. You got to, you got to know what to expect and to have a game plan. That's the most important thing there. Hello, Monica. Okay, good to have you here, dear. And so we're gonna be doing this, okay? As a matter of fact, I've had some people in the past tell me I need to charge for doing this stuff. I need to hold classes and have them, but you know what? I'm all about the interchange of knowledge. Okay, you're getting this free. All right, it's not costing you anything. And that's the way a lot of good knowledge should be. Knowledge should be free because knowledge will set you free. Okay, definitely. And knowledge is a good thing. I got a sign on my desk I never will forget. I think it was Sir Walter Raleigh that said this: that power is knowledge, and knowledge is power. And that is definitely what you need: the power to live a good life, to live a happy life, or to live the pursuit of happiness, as it says in the Declaration of Independence. Amelia said I'm going camping with the Girl Scouts there. Well, tell them I said hey, okay? All right, they make sure they bring cookies. That's definitely one of the reasons why I like to hang out with them. Okay. Hello, Wizard Moon. Good to have you here. Anyway, I'm hoping this will all be a good learning experience for you. And even if you don't, well, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Even if you don't go out in the field doing paranormal investigation, this is going to help you in other ways besides that. This course will teach you how to look at all of life, not just paranormal investigation, and how to question things and to understand the things in the world around us. That's why I became a doctor of metaphysics. Metaphysics is trying to understand in relative science and understanding and philosophy and all that, trying to understand how the unseen side of this universe affects the seen side, the side that we live in, the physical world. That's what metaphysics is all about. And it's a fascinating thing. So I'm going to be talking metaphysics with this. I'm going to be talking philosophy. I'm going to be talking theology with some of this. I'm going to be getting deep into the many different subjects of the paranormal field. Okay? You know what? And I've said this before. We should not limit ourselves. We need to live a broader life. We do not need to narrow in on things. We need to unlimit ourselves, and stretch out our minds and our thinking processes. We need to do that. Hello, David. Good to have you here. And that always makes for a good way to live. Without a doubt. I've got some interesting things to begin to talk with, but that's my announcement for this week, okay? And you definitely do not want to miss Paranormal Point of View this Friday. It's going to blow you out of the water, okay? You want to be here for that. 8 o'clock Friday night, Paranormal Point of View. We're going to get on the strange train again, okay, folks? We're going deep in the strange country here. But we're going to be talking a bunch of movie reviews. I got a bunch of movie reviews for you. Got a book review for you. Got some current news and some stuff going on even related again to the coming eclipse and some other stuff. We're going to have a lot of news stuff to go over. So that's going to be different. You do not want to miss Paranormal Point of View Friday night, 8 o'clock, okay? Eastern Standard Time. Be here for that. You'll be glad you did, okay? All right. Checking out everybody that's checking in here. And I want to tell you something interesting that happened to me a few weeks back. I don't know if you're very familiar. I'm talking some occult stuff now, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with the knife curse. Let me explain that to you just a little bit, okay? You actually do this. This is a sort of a spell, a hex thing, okay? Where you can actually take a knife. No, that's my letter opener there. It's made out of obsidian stone, by the way, what the cave guys used to work with. That's a letter opener there. But you can take something like that, put a curse on it, a death curse. It's what you usually do with a knife curse. It's a death curse, okay? And you take this and that knife and you stick it in somebody's property. You stick it usually on their front lawn. That's where you stick it at. If you ever find a knife sticking on your front lawn, somebody's putting a death curse on you. Okay? I just want to tell you about that, okay? That's one of the things. There are other different curses that can be attached to knives, but that's one of them, and one of the most darkest ones of all. And it can be any kind of knife. Now, I want to show you something that a few weeks back I found sticking in my lawn. That's quite a knife, is it not? It's got a skull on top. It's got the number 13 on there, as a matter of fact, too. That is a knife and a half, okay? This thing is very long, okay? It's almost like a little sword. I found this sticking in my front lawn, okay? I knew what it was the moment I saw it, and I knew what it was there for. Somebody, evidently, I have some enemies that would like to wish me some very bad harm. Now, don't worry, I would not have brought this into my house or even touched it without having a blessing, a cleansing done on it, okay? But I just wanted to illustrate to you what happens in my profession a lot. I don't let it bother me because I know that he who protects me is much greater than he was in this world. I'm not worried about that. But I'm just saying that's what you still have to put. That's part of the territory you have to deal with when you do things like I do. Okay. But anyway, I just wanted to show that to you. But I just want to warn you, if you do find a knife, and it can be any kind, it doesn't have to be one that looks like this. But my gosh, it's so heavy, you wouldn't even have to stab anybody. You could just hit them with this thing and knock them out. But anyway, if you find a knife sticking in your lawn, 9 times out of 10, you'll know exactly what it's there for. Okay? And it might be a good idea for you to start seeking some equation with that. Someone did that to me, yes, Monica. That was a few weeks back that I found that sticking in my lawn. Someone is evidently trying to put a death curse on me, okay? For a while now, I've been wondering a little bit about my health. I've had some things going on with my health, and I have to wonder if maybe this might be a connection. You never know, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it, okay? Do I look like I'm worried, okay? No. It's an awesome knife, though, but dang, that's not good, says Wizard Moon. No, it's not. It is a good knife, though. Yes, it definitely is. I mean, I would not hesitate to take that in the battle with me. Definitely. It's very interesting. It looks like it's probably come from somebody in a motorcycle gang or something. I don't know, but anyway. A lot of those guys are into satanic stuff, too, you know. But I won't get into that. Matter of fact, I hung out with a motorcycle gang one time. I investigated them, and you would not believe. Well, that's a story for another time. You would not believe some of the stuff that the guys and the girls were doing. Okay. Oh, wow stuff. And it was another one of those cases where I probably took my life in my own hands. Okay. I should not have been there. I was in a bad place. Okay. I have to tell you about it sometime. But it was a motorcycle gang, and they were not a fun guy. They weren't a bunch of senior citizens out to ride the motorcycle. No, no, no. These guys were bad dudes. Um, but I had to go there to help a lady, and one of the motorcycle girls actually wanted some help, some stuff was going on with her, and I found out why, because of what they were dabbling in and doing. A lot of them were heavy core satanic worshippers. It's an interesting story. I have to tell you about it sometime. But definitely looks expensive, Monica says. Probably somebody spent some money on it, definitely. But it has a very expensive death curse on it, definitely, without a doubt. Um, Now, sometimes when you get a death curse on you, sometimes they'll have a scroll with runes on it. Let me warn you about that. Never ever touch that scroll. Okay, do not take that scroll. Okay, I did not touch the knife till I said prayer over it, salted it, anointed it. Then I pulled it up out of the ground. I didn't touch it. This is the way you got to handle stuff like that. And if you have a scroll with it, do not, under any circumstances, take a hold of that scroll. Burn that thing on the ground while it's there, okay? Because once you take it, it's yours. No matter what it is, if it's a death curse or whatever it is, once you take it, it's like an open invitation to a doorway. It's yours. So be very careful what you take from people, what you take, especially from strangers, and what you find lying around. Because once you pick it up, my friends, you own it. Once you take it into your physical hands, it's your baby. Okay? For good or bad, and it's usually bad. Okay. Yeah, they're into trafficking. They're in the. You wouldn't believe all the stuff they're into. Some of the most corrupt criminal organizations in this world are motorcycle gangs. Okay, and I'm not even mentioning the Hells Angels, the Rolling Thunder, and all the rest of them. Some of them are very bad dudes, definitely. And if you're in that kind of stuff, my number one advice for you is to get out of it immediately. Don't stay in that stuff, because it can not only badly spiritually affect you, but it can be physical as well, definitely. Hey, John, good to have you here. I walked in on, he said you walked in on standoff with a gang, knife fight, and death curse, only on hunting the shadow. There you go. You never know what I'm going to come up with next, okay? But actually, this is a wicked looking blade, okay? And if I were going to put a death curse on anything, it would definitely be something like this, without a doubt. But I mean, I will say this: it kind of gave me a chill when I first seen it sticking up out there in my lawn. Okay, and you gotta you gotta be careful how you handle these things. All right, that's the way it goes with that. But anyway, like I said, that's a story for another time. So tonight we're going to be talking about times of darkness, the shadow of things to come on hunting the shadows. Okay. Now, I have said this before. Matter of fact, I did an interview with USA Today one time. The last time there was, I think it was 7 years ago that we had a total eclipse here. This won't be total here. It'll be almost like a crescent moon looking thing. But now where you at, it might be total. Some of you out there. Anyway, whether it's total or not total doesn't matter. It still produces darkness. Okay. That's what we're going to talk about here tonight. But I did a interview with USA Today about the eclipse last time, and they wanted to know about the possibility of paranormal activity picking up during an eclipse. And I've said this before, and for those of you that have not seen my Facebook, I had a thing on Facebook about it. If I can get this phone to do something here. There could be a death curse on my equipment tonight. I don't know. But anyway, um, let me get my Facebook up right quick. I just wanted to read you right quick what I put on Facebook to kind of get this started. For those who did never check my Facebook, naughty, naughty, naughty. And you have to start checking my Facebook because I put some interesting information on there for you. Okay. That's what I use Facebook for. I don't get on there and socialize that much, but I like to get on there and connect with people knowledge wise. And I was going to read you right quick what I put down about this coming up here. Okay. It has been noted by supernaturalists and folklorists that whenever in nature there occurs an unnatural darkness, such as eclipses of the sun or moon, it is thought that there will also come a rise in paranormal activity and occurrences. It may be best to realize that certain forces can obtain a higher resonance of power during these times of intense darkness. Nature reacts strangely, as does shadow and light, and it is even thought by some that this may be prospective to the opening and closing of portals. It may also be best to be more aware and perceptive in these unnatural periods of darkness as to strange occurrences and supernatural encounters. Yes, indeed, during times of unnatural darkness, unnatural things happen, without a doubt. Now, I'm not going to say there's going to be that big of an uptick, but there will be some, definitely. And I think demonic activity increases greatly in times of darkness. That can be either a sun, eclipse of the sun, or eclipse of the moon. Some of the most evil things and deeds are done on nights of the dark of the moon, when there is hardly no moon at all. The darker it is, the more evil likes it. That's just the way it works. That's just the way it moves about in this universe. It loves the darkness. It does not like the light. And thank you, Girl Nurgon, about the Facebook. Thank you. I'm glad you check it out every now and then. But anyway, you've got to understand that in these periods of darkness, unnatural things occurring. Cows start going to bed, horses start getting ready to bed now, chickens go to roost. Animals think it's night. They start looking for, their places to get at night. At night, animals come out, like raccoons and skunks and stuff like that, are so more prevalent during times of an eclipse because it looks like it's getting dark. It looks like it's getting night. Even shadow and light is very strange. If you've ever been in an almost total eclipse of the sun, you know what I'm talking about. You got some weird light stuff going on. You got some weird shadow play. This is not natural, okay? And the unnatural things in this universe love that. That's their playground. Okay, you got to remember that. There's even more sightings of Bigfoot, Dogman, and other cryptids during eclipses, okay? It's almost as if the natural order of everything, well, it is kind of skewed for a while. And there's a lot of talk of lost time, a lot of talk of portals possibly being opened during these periods of time, that more so than at regular periods of time. So you've got that going on, and that's something to look at, okay? And I want to get your feedback on it. What do you think? Some of this stuff is going to precipitate. But I can tell you without a doubt, that is the time to kind of beware. I'm not telling you to be scared. I'm trying to spook you here, okay? I'm not in the fear business, all right? But I'm just trying to warn you, keep your head on a swivel and keep your eyes and your wits about you, because there could be some weird stuff happen, okay? That's all I can say about that. Yes, it is very freaky, Wizard Moon. It is a freaky time, and freaky things can happen, definitely, without a doubt. in ancient times, people thought it was doomsday. They thought it was the end of the world. And of course, it would be the end of the world if something happens to the sun. And they in China, in ancient China, they thought the dragon was swallowing the sun. And they would go outside and pray and beat pans and make as much noise as possible to scare the dragon away so he would vomit up the sun again and the sun would come back. That was what they believed now. I'm just telling you that. And in Africa, they believed something along the same similar lines, that it was some kind of evil spirit trying to swallow the sun up, you know. The Golden Dawn says Walpurgis night is 4:30, which is night. The next full moons are big, especially the Buddha moon in May. Absolutely, you're coming into a period of time when darkness is being celebrated. Okay, Walpurgis night, actually, in my book, is the most evil night of the year, and it comes on the very last night of April, right before May Day, the 1st of May. That's Walpurgis night. It's a witches' night. There are a lot of ceremonies, a lot of sacrifices taking place, a lot of dark deeds being done at this period, this time. So we're still, although we're in spring and moving away from winter, we are still in the darkest times of the year right now. Okay. And that is basically what you got to look at, and especially with a eclipse of the sun during this period of time, could figure into a lot of that. Okay. John Foreman says it's interesting how humans know so instinctively that darkness is dangerous. Well, darkness is danger, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Because you cannot see clearly in the darkness. We human beings do not have night eyes. Okay. We do not have the eyes of the owl or the cat or the wolf at night. We can't see as good as they do. So it's a more dangerous time to us. This is something that goes back, a primordial fear that goes back to the beginning of our existence, when we huddled around fires in the caves at night. We didn't know what was out there in the dark, and there were some bad things out there. And I'm not talking about cryptids. I'm talking about saber-toothed tigers, bears, lions. You did not go out there in the dark, okay? It wasn't just the wolves were going to get you, or whatever's out there. You couldn't see it. You're at a very, and what did I say earlier in the program? You're at a very bad disadvantage, okay? Never go into anything at a disadvantage, because it will not usually ever turn out good. And when you go out in the dark at night, you can't see as well, okay? I don't care if you're under street lights or whatever, you're still not seeing. I know as a cop, I know this, okay? You have to be really on your guard at night, because you're at a disadvantage sight-wise, okay? Got to remember that. High energy in the next 2 full moons. It is increasing. That energy is increasing, and it increases more. This dark energy, I call it. It's not the good energy we're talking about. Usually it's the dark energy is increasing as well, relatively. What I said in that little article, the resonance of this thing is growing, okay? It grows with this evil and this darkness, okay? In the days, men will see for things in the heavens that will make the hearts fail. We will see things coming up, Mike Jones. I've said this before, so we need to get ready and understand. We may see things in our lifetimes that will blow our minds out of the water, okay? We're going to see some things very soon that's going to be very disturbing if you know what you're looking at and you understand what's going on. A lot of people just not going to understand what's going on, and they're not going to see what this. What we can see, maybe, because we know what we're talking about here. That's why I said knowledge is power and power is knowledge. You need that knowledge. You need that knowledge to have the power to live the way you need to do. I'm not talking about power to push people around. That's the bad kind of power, to run people's lives. No, I'm talking about power to live well and live in peace and happiness. That's the kind of power you want, and knowledge helps you obtain that. Okay. I've often said this, okay? There is an excuse for ignorance. You just didn't know better. but there is no excuse for stupidity. Stupidity has no excuse. Stupidity is being stupid because you want to be stupid. Okay? So let's not do that. Let's be smart. Okay, we want to be the smart guys. We don't want to be the stupid guys. Crackenfoot, do you really believe we were huddling in caves? Darwin lies. Well, cave was a great place to be, and you didn't have to worry about anything breaking in your window in a cave, okay? Cave was the perfect place to fortify yourself at night when you think about it, and why a lot of the Native American Indians lived in pueblos and stuff like that. You had only one entrance to guard. You were doing pretty good, okay? Because, like I say, you got to remember this. Mankind did not want to get eat up, okay? There were things out there, even in daytime, that would eat you up. Okay, believe me, I know. I've been in the woods a lot, and I know how that goes. That's the way nature is. Nature is, always the bigger one is preying on the smaller one. But that was a good, smart idea to take. If I were out in the woods, I'd look for a cave, because you get in a cave, you got your back covered. You only got to worry about your front. That's the way to go. It's like you don't ever want to run into Bigfoot in a tent. The number one thing you don't ever want to do, because you're in a very big, what did I say earlier? Disadvantage. Let's not, believe me, as a cop, I knew I was walking around with a target on my back, okay? That's a big disadvantage, okay? And you never want to deal with this. You want to try to minimize your disadvantages as much as possible, whatever they may be, okay? And I've often told them, I went to the police department and said, look, why do we need uniforms? We need to be out here without uniforms on, okay, sometimes, because, hey, uniforms are a dead giveaway. Of course, we're not trying to be sneaky about it, but I'm saying it might save our lives if we weren't so obvious out here. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't like that idea. But anyway, very dangerous, spiritual darkness and physical darkness. Absolutely, they both go hand in hand nowadays in this world. And like I said on my last show, it's not the same world that we lived in before. There's a lot of dangerous criminals. I'm not talking about evil, demonic evil here. I'm talking about human evil. There's a lot of human evil out there walking our streets, more so now than ever before, because a lot of these South American countries have emptied their prisons on us. There's rapists, torturers, murderers, sex fiends out there walking around in your neighborhood, folks. Not somebody else's, your neighborhood. And you better be aware of that, okay? And you better, like I said, not let that be a disadvantage for you. Being in a state of fear is more dangerous because it's insidious. Absolutely. Fear immobilizes you. Do not let fear take over. It freezes you up. It immobilizes you. It keeps you from... But on the other hand, a smart person realizes the advantages and disadvantages in the world around him, okay? If there's a criminal out there that wants to rape your daughter, okay, you have a right to be fearful for her, but don't do it in the bad way. Don't let that immobilize you. Use your fear against the bad guy. I was always taught this in the Police Academy and other places as well. Use their input against them. Don't let it go the other way, okay? That's what you got to do. Then creation, not evolution, okay? Crackenfoot, I got you. No uniforms, unmarked cars. Hey, think about it. It's getting to the point where you're a target, Believe me, I've had people stare me down and wanted to kill me because I was wearing a uniform. You know what I'm saying? This y'all's website. Thank you there, Midwest. I appreciate that, brother. And don't forget, now Friday night I'm gonna be pointing at your podcast, brother. Okay, I was pointing at my friend Cryptid Huntress last week, so we'll be talking about that on the Friday show. But yeah, I mean, do not let fear control you. That's the main thing. Here's what you got to understand. The more life you control, the better off you are. Do not let your fear control you. You control your fear. Okay, that's what, and use it for your advantage. Okay, that's the way that's got to go. If a guy's coming at you with a knife, okay, you can't take him down using your sheer strength alone. You let him use his momentum against him. Use that, utilize it. Don't put yourself at the disadvantage. It's very interesting that you remember that. Okay. Hello, Melissa. Good to have you here, dear. And anyway, that's what you do. That's what you're going to run into. I mean, that's out there on the streets. And when you realize that, you will be forearmed and ready to handle the situation. Okay? If you know there's something out there, a bad guy out there in your neighborhood walking around, how many sex offenders do you know live next door to you? You know what I'm saying? You need to know. The more information you have, the better off, and the more prepared you must be for it. Fear is an illusion. A trick of Lucifer said, I'm not going rock climbing. Anyway, that's just funny there, Mike. Definitely. But no, fear can be used in a good way. We all have fear. Okay. Everybody, human being walking around has a fear. I don't care. I've had lots of, I don't fear anything. Everybody has a fear. Whether you recognize it or not, it's there. But you not let the fear overwhelm you and take control of you and put you at disadvantage in this life. Do it the other way around. Use that fear to make you smarter and cunning and better at survival. That's what the animals do, okay? That's exactly what animals do. Funny, I was just showing my 10-year-old how to hold a knife and knife found it even an hour ago. Well, there you go. You got to use that momentum against them. If they're coming at you, they're the attacker, you're the attackee, okay? Take the attacker's momentum against him, use it to your advantage. That's the way you got to do it. I was taught how to disarm somebody with a gun in my face, okay? You got to learn these things. You need to learn these things. You may run into this situation, but like I said earlier in this program, you right now have more of a chance of this happening than ever before. And you need to realize that and recognize that because it's very important to your survival. Okay? And I want to see you survive. Okay? But anyway, that's what you're looking at in times of darkness and the shadow of things to come. I want to tell you this: a social system is coming. They're going to take over your money. They're going to take over your life. They're going to take over the very food that you consume and eat. They're going to take over the water that you drink, more so now than ever before. They've got control over it a little bit right now. This is nothing compared to what's coming in the future. Okay, more control is coming. We're going to have to get smarter, folks. Okay, we're going to have to beat their system because the system is going to be our enemy. Okay, it already is. It's just going to be a worse enemy than it ever was before. And we got to start thinking about that. Keep your faith larger than your fears. That's right, Gina. Faith tells us that there is something like the perfect illustration is the death curse. Okay. You know that God is greater than this, 1,000,000 times greater than this, okay? Without a doubt. But you know what? The number one thing behind a curse here, you know what they like about this? The reason the knife is sticking in, all this crap is to scare you. That's the power of the curse, to scare you, to get in your mind and make a self-fulfilling prophecy out of this stuff, okay? That's a psychological warfare that they're using against you. That's what curses are all about. Let me put it this way. If I were a witch doctor and I were going to curse you, I would absolutely go up to your face and tell you that I'm putting a curse on you because that's the way it works. If I don't tell you, it ain't going to be very effective, okay? That's the way these curses work, okay? And that's the way evil works. Evil tries to get in your mind, it gets you scared, wrap his fingers around your soul, and get you right where it wants you. Don't let it do that. Don't let it do that. I've already done it. I've beat other than faith is beyond me. I just know they will fail. God always wins. Greater is he who is with me than he who is in the world. That's a biblical passage. I've actually used that against demons and my friends. It works. Greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. Okay? That's what you got to keep remembering and believing because it's true. It's not just a made up thing. It's not a psychological thing like fear and evil is trying to do with you. This is faith. Faith is believing without any evidence. Okay? That's what faith is all about. Faith is also acting on your faith, stepping out on your faith. That's what makes it proactive. I'll be teaching about this and how to fight the shadows. Okay? And don't want to miss this seminar. I will be teaching about that. That knife was made, not bought. It probably was. It looks like somebody put something together on that. I'm not sure. It's weaponizing the placebo effect as a curse. Yeah. It's all in the mind here. But that's the way evil works. It tries to get your mind. It tries to get in there and manipulate you. It's certainly going to do it. What have I said before about the school systems and all this other junk that's going on in the world? They're going after your children and your grandchildren's minds. That's what they're going after. Once you get the mind, you got the heart and the soul, my friends. That's the way that works. And evil knows that. The darkness in this world knows that without a doubt. New Age is a death, unpolluted, certain characters that teach or preach New Age. I notice you warned again. Absolutely. That's an insidious thing that's going on in this world. It's the devil's religion, or whatever name you want to give it. It is bad juju stuff, everybody. You don't want to mess with this New Age crap because it will doom your soul. Believe me, that's what it's designed for. Okay? Trust me. They know what they're doing. They're smart. Like I said, these demons, these fallen angels, are a whole lot smarter than we are. That's what you're up against. But don't worry, you got God on your side. You know, you're on God's side, really. That's the side you need to be on. Not God on your side. You need to be on God's side. You stay in the will of God. You do what God wants you to do. Don't step outside of that. You'll be okay. Okay, John 4, let's see. Yes, Lucifer sentenced to death. Lucifer is sentenced to an everlasting death in the lake of fire, along with his angels, and you do not want to buy into that destiny with them. Okay? They want you to. They just like a bomb going off. They're gonna take as many people with them as they can when they go. So don't let that happen to you. You don't want to share in that dark and awful destiny that's waiting for them. Okay, because it is forever. Eternity has no end, my friends, without a doubt. What's her name does New Age? What's her name does White Witch? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. You know, at the risk, and I've known some witches. I've been friends with some witches. Okay, and I try not to be judgmental, but I know what's right and what's wrong, folks. Okay, and I'm just the kind of guy that's got to say that, you know? And I'm going to say this. I don't see any good witchcraft stuff going on in that respect because they're going about it the wrong way, okay? But I'm not going to get into that tonight because I'll get people mad at me. I have more death curses on me. I mean, you know, I've already got them mad at me. I know that. But anyway, I just don't see it's just not right. It's not going the right way with that. Okay, they're doing it and they're hooking in. They think they're hooking into the old gods of nature and all that. But who are they? Did they not explore who the origin of these so-called old gods are? They are fallen angels. That's what they are. Okay? And what I said about the demons before, they are egotistical maniacs. They want you to worship them as gods. They want to be gods. They're little wannabe gods. You ever heard that expression? You want to be this, you want to be that? They're little wannabe gods. They're far from real gods, my friends. Definitely, without doubt. You know of whom I speak. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. These two passages are demons packing as long as you're praying and in daily counsel of God through Christ. Yeah. You stay in the will of God. When you step out, I don't know, by saying the will of God, you try to live your life right. You ask God in your heart. You ask Jesus to be the Lord of your life. You're in a good place, okay? And you're walking with God. That's in the will of God. That's the will of God, folks. Okay, that's a simple thing. Walking with God is the will of God because that's what He wants. He wants a relationship with you. He loves you more than your earthly and earthly father and mother loves you. God loves you even more. When you're reciprocating that love, when you're walking within that love, you're in the will of God. But beware if you step outside that will. You're open game to whatever's out there, and believe me, they're waiting. Okay, believe me, they're waiting for you to make the wrong step and the wrong thing. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna be perfect. None of us are gonna be perfect until we go to where we need to go in the end of our lives to be with God. Then we will be perfect. We'll be like Him in many ways in that respect. Although we are not that way now, but we're walking with God. We're trying. He says that's the way He wants it. That relationship, if you've got that relationship going on, that's the way it needs to be. Okay. And here's another thing, and I said this, and I heard a preacher say this tonight the other day. I like him. Here's what he said. He said he had one word to say to Trump. Okay, next time you say God bless America, mention Jesus. Don't leave Him out. Okay, if you deny the divinity of Son of Christ of God, you're on the wrong side. Okay, I'm sorry to tell you this. You're on the wrong side. Okay. If you deny that, then you deny God, the true God of this universe. You've turned your back on God, whether you realize it or not. You have, and you don't want to be in that situation. You're not in the will of God. Okay, there you go. So yeah, I would tell Trump that too. Next time you say God bless America in the name of Jesus Christ, I want to hear that said. Okay, let's see if it happens. Okay, Christians don't have to perform rituals. Christ fulfilled all that. Our prayers are much more powerful than witchcraft. Absolutely. I would love to show you this film. I got a film of this girl. She was a Satanist, and she said she even had the names and addresses, but she was putting curses and spells on these Christians. But they were praying, and she said my spells were bouncing off. They couldn't touch them. They couldn't do anything. That's the way that works, folks. Prayer is power. Okay. And prayer hooked up in the right way, not the wrong way. I'm talking about in the will of God. If you pray the right prayer, you are powerful. You know, God, what did Jesus tell you? I give you power over all the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means shall harm you. That's a very wonderful promise that we've been given. And you stand on the promises of God. You can take God's promises to the bank. Okay, what did I say? You can take God's promises to the bank because God, the almighty creator of this universe, your heavenly Father does not lie or go back on his promises. That's a lie. Now, I used to say a lie unbroken. A promise broken is a lie unspoken. God don't do that. So you can bank, you can stand on his promises and know he will fulfill them. Okay? So I give you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means will harm you. There you go. What more do you need to be said? That's very plain and obvious, is it not? You have that power as a believer. You have that power. It's been given to you. To them gave he power to become the sons and daughters of God, to them that believe on his name. That's all you got to remember. You got the power. It's God-given power. It's not your power. It's not power from Donald Trump or Joe Biden. It's not power from the U.S. government. It's power from God. I'd rather have that power than any power at all. Any power in the universe. I got some interesting movie reviews for you Friday, but there was one movie I watched, and that I'm going to tell you about that kind of took me by surprise. And I'm going to have to tell you about that, so don't forget about it. But it's a movie about aliens and UFOs. But it's one of the most unusual movies I've seen. But don't worry, I'm gonna have all my movie reviews for you Friday. I got some good ones you want to see, okay? I got some you don't want to see, but I've got some good ones you definitely don't want to see. All right. Do not cleave to evil entities. Instead, stand on the promises of God, separate from the world. That's exactly right. That's the will of God, that you do that. That you have that relationship through His Son Jesus Christ. You have that relationship with Him. Jesus paid the price. Jesus was the Lamb of God. But I'm going to tell you something, folks. He left this world as a lamb, but He will return as a lion of the tribe of Judah. He's coming back as a lion. And don't ever forget that. And that day is coming closer and closer. But I'm not preaching tonight, okay? Thank you, Sweet Pea. You're going to like these movie reviews. I got some really good ones for you. But anyway, that's the shape of the shadow of things that are coming, okay? They're going to try this control because they want to get it over us. That's what evil's all about, slavery. That's what it is. Basically slavery, spiritual and physical slavery, okay? They want to put you in these 15-minute cities. They're going to take your cars that run on gas away from you. They're going to tell you what foods to eat. They're going to put bugs in your food, by the way, so they can make it cheaper. They're going to tell you what to eat, when to drink water, when to do this, when to do that. You're going to be their puppet on a string. That's what they want, okay? Because it's all about slavery. Your God is freedom. Can I say that more plainly? God is freedom. He's all about freedom, love and freedom and mercy and forgiveness. Okay? That's what it comes down to. Okay? I don't care what you've done in the past. And we all are not spotless, okay? I don't care what you've done in the past. You can forgive about it. That's what this shirt says. Demons behind me. And so is the past. And you know what? That's very true. Put the demon behind you. Put your own personal demons back there. That's where they need to be, back behind you in the past. And don't worry about the past anymore. The past is gone. The future is what we need to worry about. The present and the future, we need to live in those, for the things and the times that are coming ahead for us. And that's to live without fear, knowing that we have forgiveness, knowing that we need to be exactly where we need to be with our Creator. These are the things that will set us apart from the other people. And these are the things that will preserve us against the shadow of the things that are coming, okay? And those shadows, my friends, are gathering ever closer, minute by minute, second by second. And we need not to ignore that. I'm not scaring you, trying to scare you. I'm just saying we need not to ignore that and be ready to deal with it the right way, okay? Get behind me, Satan. Absolutely. That's where he needs to be. You know, Jesus said that, said that. He rebuked Peter. Actually, he wasn't talking to Peter. He was talking to Satan, who was using Peter, by the way. And he said, you savor not the things of God, but the things of this world. Get thee behind me, Satan. That's where he's going to be, behind you. That's a good place for him. But anyway, plastic rice and synthetic beef and Actrin. I think it's called Actrin, which is nothing but ground up crickets. You're trying to make eating bugs a way to save the earth. Oh, yeah. I guarantee you, rich people will never eat bugs. They will be sitting there and laughing and drinking their champagne and eating their filet mignon, my friends. Don't think they're going to do that, okay? They're not. Absolutely not. That's for you, not for them. Because you're not our kind. That's how they say that. You're not our kind. We're smarter and better than you. We need to live better than you and tell you what to do. That's their attitude. If you meet rich people, that's their attitude. I've known some millionaires, okay? I've known some millionaires in my time. And most of them, some of them don't act like millionaires, and I don't think they realize that some of them don't, but some of them do. But they'll never be the same as you and I are. Okay, I'm sorry to say it. No matter how much money, no matter what your good intentions, money changes you. It changes you. Sometimes for the worse. I've heard a lot of people who win lotteries destroys them. And that's the way money works. But anyway, that's my thing for the night. Let's see what your reactions is to that. I'm gonna quit preaching at you. But anyway, by the way, I've been putting a few poems for you if you want to go to the channel, the YouTube channel, and watch some of my videos. I've been doing a few readings for you if you want to check them out. I won't be doing too many more in the future, but there'll be a few maybe once in a while. I'll do one for you. But I put a few out there for you. Some of them are my own, and then some are some other people's. Okay. So anyway, I love a good story poem. Okay, I'm a storyteller. I love good stories. I love to tell stories. I love to hear good stories. Okay. So I like a good story poem, a poem that kind of tells a story. That's why I've written a few of them like that, like The Voodoo Man and Voodoo Moon and On a Night Like This. That's one of them. There's story poems that have a little story with them. I like to get the story, kind of like the Twilight Zone stuff there. This is on your shirt. So, well, thank you. I like a good. This is also this shirt is also the one that says "Demons Behind Me." The shirt is also. You get the shirt, you get a free T-shirt with it or something like that. But anyway, I like the shirt because it has a good message. Check them out, Dennis. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. I've enjoyed the short, so thank you, Russell. I like to put a few on every now. I like to tell a good story, just kind of lighten things up, But some of my stories are kind of spooky, but that's me. I'm a spooky guy. Okay. Midwest, thank you, my brother. I enjoy doing them for you, but I don't want to bore you. Don't want to get you too bored by them, but I enjoy them. Once a good story, it's a good story and all that. When I was a kid, I have always, I cannot remember a time when I was not interested in the supernatural and the paranormal and stuff like that. The spooky stuff. I cannot remember a time ever in my life when I was not. When I was like 4 or 5 years old, I would sit at my grandmother's knee and beg her to tell me ghost stories. I would go from porch to porch in the neighborhood. Back in the old days, people used to sit on their porches in summertime, and I would get people talking and telling their ghost stories. I accumulated all their ghosts. I love a good ghost story. I used to go to schools and do ghost story presentations, which I enjoyed immensely. It's always good to have a young audience. And I would go to schools and do the stories. I even did the monkey's paw one night, which is kind of a long story, but I did it for those. The kids loved it. The monkey's paw. That's a good one. Anyway, if you've never read it, check it out. It's online. Go read it. It's a great story. But anyway, I've always enjoyed that. And I have the kids come up to me and say, Mr. Carroll, do you believe in ghosts? So I didn't want to scare them, so I'd always say I believe in ghost stories. And I still do. So Russell says some of my best memories are your stories when I was a kid. I want to bring my daughter to your house and hear some of your classics. Anytime you're ready, I'm always ready to tell a good story. I bet most of us have the same lifelong interest. I think so. My class loved it when you came to my classroom. Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed it and had a great time. It's that rapport, that connection. When I would go in sometimes and then they knew I was there to tell stories, some of the kids were like, yeah, go ahead and do your best, old man. Yeah, but by the end, they were like this, I had them right on them. And they thought they were going to, resist me, but it didn't work. But that's the way it goes with a good story. Everybody loves a good story, whether it's a funny story, it's a ghost story. Everybody loves ghost stories. I don't think I've ever met anybody that didn't. I've had a lot of people say this to me many times. Ghosts, I don't believe in that stuff. But let me tell you what happened to somebody I know. So they love a good ghost story, definitely. I thought everyone was. We had three channels. Chili Billy was at Pittsburgh Stable. There you go. Chili Billy, yeah. I remember him. Thou know is a good. I believe you are a God, and thou know as is good. I believe you are a godly man. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Kraken, I guess you're sure, sir or madam, whichever the case may be. Great mementos. Going up listening to your stories. My favorite one was Miss Jenny Jones. Oh, yeah, Miss Jenny Jones. I'll have to do that sometimes, the reading on that one. That's a jump story. And my favorite ones to do with jump stories that actually at the very end you scare somebody to make them jump, It's called a jump story. And in the South, that was one of the favorite kind of ghost stories, a jump story. But Miss Jenny Jones was a good one, definitely. That is, I think, comes from the Gullah stories. I've studied a lot of the Gullah, and I love the Native American stories. Oh yeah, I love a lot of those. I love folklore and the stories that are attached to folklore. Yeah, jump stories and little one of the best favorite, most favorite of all jump stories I used to do was Little Orphan Annie, which sort of has a jump, it has a little bit of a scare at the end. Great. I think Walt Whitman wrote that poem. Great. But I like the inflection of it. He speaks like the old backcountry people spoke. He did it in that way. Great story. Little Orphan Annie. I might have to do a reading on that, definitely, one day. There's a lot of great stories. I enjoy doing it because the story is good. Story kind of takes you away from your troubles for a while. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Unfortunately, a lot of our children are the audience to some very bad stories nowadays. Stories with way too much violence, sex, bad language, whatever the situation. That's why I said to somebody the other day, the only time most people ever invoke the name of Jesus, they use it as a cuss word, and that's the way that goes. But that's the way it goes. Have you heard Brother Banham? I think that name sounds familiar. I'll have to check that out. I can remember. I remember a lot of them, a lot of stories. I heard what's that joke I heard the other day about the three doctors? The three doctors were putting some martinis down in the bar one day, and the first doctor said, they were talking about their surgeries, and the first doctor said, well, I had a guy got his arm cut off in a industrial accident. Said I sewed that arm back on. Now he's a major league pitcher. And the other doctor said, well, that ain't nothing. Said I had a guy come to me, had his leg cut off in a farm accident. Said I sewed that leg back on in about 4 hours. Took 4 hours to sew that leg back on. Said now he's a long distance runner. Third doctor said that ain't nothing. Said let me tell you what happened to me. He said me and my wife going down a country road and we seen this guy leave the highway, run off into a field of cows, and said he went through the windshield to split his head wide open. So I got out there and I started stuffing the brains back in his head. I got some of the cow manure too. Stuffed it back in his head and sewed him up. And today he's the president. And that's how that goes. Even jokes are a little bit of a story, are they not? O. Henry short story. Oh yeah, O. Henry. That's some of the best. And one of my favorites, I think it was O. Henry, was I'm a Fool. Great story. Great story. I love that. William Bantam. That name is familiar. Definitely the Bantam thing is. I'll have to check him out. A lot of great storytellers over the years, definitely. But anyway. Okay, I know you're out there. I hear crickets. Okay. All right. Well, that's a little talk tonight on the times of darkness, and there are times. I don't even. I'm not too worried about the eclipse. I mean, that's a natural thing. They happen. They occur. What makes me want to worry a little bit about, NASA sending 3 rockets out there, the CERN colliders revving back up to do some stuff. Men are always going to monkey around with nature. That's what worries me. Definitely. Oh, Henry did the first version of drinking the finger boat. Yeah. Oh, Henry, yeah. That was a good one. Thank you there, Rhonda. I didn't think it would be bad for the cell phones to go out for a few days. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Let me tell you something about this technology, okay? And I found this out back in 11. Well, our computers went down that day. We couldn't get any information we wanted. These things are useless when it comes to the day will come when they will be useless. Piece of junk. All of this is not going. It's going to be under the control of certain people. Definitely, it already is. By the way, you wouldn't believe. Okay, I got a question for you to ask Alexa. If you got an Alexa, ask her who founded the Catholic Church, and see what answer you get. Okay, that's an interesting one. I did that a little while before I came on the show tonight. See what answer you get. Who founded the Catholic Church? NASA sent up test rockets quite frequently. Yeah, they do it a lot, but I don't know why 3 rockets at one time. That's kind of strange. A lot of weird stuff going on. A lot of strange stuff. You got to question a lot of it. Well, like I said, these things will be useless sometimes. And there are times coming ahead, definitely, when our technology is going to either be our master or useless to us or both. Okay, that's just the way that goes. And they can track you no matter where you go. They can know you where you are, what your face is, know your identity. Folks, this is good stuff if you used it the right way. But I want to ask you one very important question. Do you think that they're going to use it the right way? Do you for 1 minute think that AI, robotics, all this stuff coming down the line is going to be used the right way? I ask you that question. Do you think it will? Yeah, yeah, that's what it says. Yeah. So evidently, Alexa is Catholic. Okay, there you go. That's all I got to say about that. Yep, that's the way that goes. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. That's a story for another time. But Alexa can say some really strange stuff. Okay. Um, Actually, I turn it off before I get on. I try to remember to do so. Once in a while, I'll slip up and forget to do it, but I turn it off when I get on here. I'm being watched closely enough now as it is without me adding any more to it. Matter of fact, about a week ago, I had a government car circle my house again. I don't know what they're up to. They're not going to leave me alone. They don't like me. I stepped on some of the wrong toes, I'm sure, but that's okay. That's like I said at the beginning of this program. That's part of the territory, and that's the price I'm willing to pay, I guess, whether I want to or not. A gigantic ocean was discovered 700 kilometers below the Earth's surface. Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. They have actually found water in outer space. They found a galaxy that had a lot of water in it. Water, that kind of blows the theory that the aliens are coming here to steal our water. I mean, they don't need Earth for that. There's plenty of it out there. Well, sometimes the truth hurts, huh? Well, let me say this about the Catholic Church. It is the Church of Jesus. Jesus did found it in that respect, if you want to look at it that way. But after that, men took over. And what does that tell you? Okay. Um, Let me tell you something real interesting about the Last Supper. Okay. Um, did you know? Let me tell you this. If I were back in the days of Jesus and I were a Jewish man, I wanted to marry a Jewish woman, I had to go to her father and ask for her hand, and we would work out a dowry, which would be about the price of a house nowadays. We'd work out a dowry, and then if everything was good with the dad, then I would take a cup of wine and I would say, I would give it to the woman. And if she takes the cup of wine and drinks it, what she's saying is, I will marry you, and what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. That's what that means. That's why that tradition is still in weddings today when the bride and the groom drink. But he would be drinking out of the same cup. Now, at the Last Supper, Jesus said, take this cup and drink it. Well, this is my blood that I'm shedding for you. But when he done that, actually, he was performing the rites of the bridegroom. He was marrying his church, his people, when you do that, okay? Now, that's what happened. That's what that stands for. A lot of symbolism going on there. But a lot of this stuff was done because of their religious symbolism to it, okay? That's the Jewish religious actions on that. Now, in my book, that sealed the deal. Jesus said, my church will be founded, and even the gates of hell will not preserve against it. Okay? But he's talking about now the church of the believers, not the Catholic Church, not the Baptist Church, not the Lutherans, not none of the rest of them. He's talking about the church of his people, his believers. That's the real church, not the Pope. The Pope is not really the vicar of Christ. He tries to be, but he's not the vicar of Christ. He's not the stand-in for Christ, because you don't need him. You don't need a priest. You don't need a preacher. You don't need me. You don't need a president. You don't need nobody between you and God except Jesus. That's what his job is. He is the mediator. Don't forget that. It's very, very, very important. Don't put your eyes on the religions of man. Okay? They'll fail you. That's the creation of men. Put your eyes on the one who will not fail you, who did not fail you, who died for you. That's where you go with that, okay? No matter what Alexa says. Well, sometimes the truth hurts. Yeah, that's the way it goes. How do you know it's a government car? Well, it has government plates on it. Okay. It's a dark SUV, a black SUV with government plates on it. It's got U.S. government on it. Okay. It's a dead giveaway. There you go. Just an honor your mortal thoughts, midnight, intimate thoughts. If you haven't already, go hit that thumbs up button on tonight's podcast. Thank you, Crystal. I will put that up there. Religions treat women like property. I think that's a terrible sin and twisting and rewriting of divine will. Well, John, as I've always said, religion is man trying to put God in a box, and I don't think God is very happy with that. Do you? AI has created property can be an aid. Absolutely, but it's just not going. I know how man works. I know how the government works. They weaponize everything. I just do not see that turning out good. Okay, maybe I'm a pessimist, but I don't see that coming out good that way. You think if they wanted to sneak, they'd change the place? Yeah, it looked like they would have a James Bond thing where they could push a button and change a fake plate on that or something. They don't care. They don't care. They know what am I going to do to them? They know what can I do to them? Nothing. If I thought about going out on the road and stopping them one day and flag them down, but what good would that do? They wouldn't deny everything. Oh, we're just cutting through here, you know. Well, you can, you know, they'd probably arrest me for trying to do something. I mean, you know, I'm not going to be stupid about it, but I know what they're up to. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to intimidate me, but boy, they barking up the wrong tree with the wrong fella. Because I don't care. And the FBI right now, let me tell you about this, folks. Be very careful what you put about Joe Biden on the internet. The FBI is going from house to house, checking on these people who put up things about Joe Biden or something. So if you say anything, be very careful what you say, because I'm not making this up. The FBI will come to see you. I'm not kidding. I done seen several reels of this. The FBI are approaching people, coming to the houses, knocking on the door. One guy says you don't have to go out and talk to them, and you don't, unless they've got a warrant. And that's what one guy told him. You come back, you won't talk to me, you come back with a warrant. But don't think for 1 minute that they don't have the power to touch you wherever you're at. I know that firsthand. So you know they know, they know, and I absolutely know that will be a fact. Definitely, John. Dude, everything gets weaponized. Yep. Give them a sandwich and a wink. Huh? Yeah. I'll go out there and talk baseball with them. From evil entities, yep, knocking on doors. Yep. A warrant can't force you to speak. Now, a warrant basically is what, unless they arrest you, they can take you downtown, but then you better get a lawyer. That's what that guy said. If you come back to my house, you better bring a warrant, because I have my lawyer talk to you. That's what you do. You just tell them immediately, I'm not going to answer any questions. I'll let you talk to my lawyer and get yourself a lawyer. That's what lawyers are for. Freeze your bank account. Oh yeah, they can do. They can take your house. They can take your property. Oh yeah. The government is so far removed from the common man or woman, not like being lumped in with them. Not all humanity is to blame for what's happening. No, but that's the way it goes. You know, we're all rats on a sinking ship. Okay, that's the way that goes. And that's the fate of rats on a sinking ship. They're all going down together, no matter what they say. Me harassment. I think you ought to be able. I believe in freedom of speech. Okay, folks. I believe what this country was founded on. I believe. I took an oath to safeguard the Constitution that will live me the rest of my days, and I mean that oath. I will give my life for that oath, to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That is a very powerful oath to me that I took, and I will not violate that oath. I've taken some oaths in my time, and I am one that will not violate them. You know, by the way, I know how to become a skinwalker, but I will never tell you that. I made a promise to never reveal that information. Okay? I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before to anybody, but that's just one thing I have sworn never to reveal. And I keep those promises. I'm a man of my word, okay? I keep my promises. But I believe in freedom of speech. I believe you have a right, just like I do. That's what this country was founded upon. God-given rights, not government-given rights. Not Biden or Trump or nobody. God gave you those rights. Don't never let any man take them from you. No man has a right to do that, okay? When someone says, look, what humanity has done, it irritates me to no end. No, humanity hasn't done that, and evil few have done that. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the way it goes. The evil few have always run things in the background. Canada's a little further along with freezing of bank accounts, suppression of free speech, thanks to Mr. Trudeau. Yep. Actually, in Scotland, they just passed a law. J.K. Rowling was talking about it. I like her. She's got guts. She's this law. If you say anything against transgender people, they can lock you up. Think about that now. Just saying you don't agree with it, they can lock you up. She told them, said, "Come lock me up. I'm ready to do it." You know, and they wouldn't do it. But These so-called hate laws are just put in place for an ulterior motive. When you look at the government, when it says the government is saying it's going to do something, you got to look behind what it really means. Okay, you can't take for the surface meaning. You got to look behind what it really means going on there. Okay. She's a bold woman. Yeah, I like her. Yeah, she got guts. Let me tell you this, and I hope you all had a great Transgender Visibility Day. Oh, I mean Easter. I'm sorry. Did you know what the funny thing is? I'm gonna say this. This is bad. All this transgender junk. This was about 100 years ago considered a psychological disease problem going on. Think about that a minute, okay? Why is it all of a sudden prevalent? The Hate Speech Act, it covers religion, race, gender, identity, age, everything except sex. Women are deliberately left out. Here's the bad thing about it, and I say this to the ladies, I love the ladies, don't get me wrong. They've had a hard fight to get where they are today, and this bunch of crap is trying to destroy where the progress they've made. If I were a woman, I would really be angry about this stuff, okay? I would really be angry because they've had a hard road to hoe and still do. But this is bad on women, especially. Birthing people. They don't even want to call them. We don't even know what a woman is anymore. That is bad. That's slander of the worst kind, okay? Is in Michigan they elected a Muslim government? Well, here's the bad thing about it, okay? They leave a country because they can't stand the way it's going on. They come over here and bring that with them and then try to change this country to be the country they left. That's stupid. Remember what I said about stupidity earlier? And that's about a lot of these people come out of blue states and they go to the red state and try to turn it into a blue state. Why did they leave the blue state to start with? I don't understand that. But that's the way evil works. Oh, it's a bad word unless it's referred to them as man. Well, I'm not going to play that game with them, okay? As a writer, they better not try to change my stuff into different pronouns. Pronouns I did not write, okay? They're going to get in big trouble. They better leave my stuff alone because I'm not going to play that pronoun game with them. He, her, they, it, or whatever. I'm not going to play that. That's just destroying the English language and taking more of our freedom of language away from us. You have a freedom of language too, by the way. But anyway, I'll tell you what, and yet in Muslim countries, women are treated like dirt. They're treated worse than slaves. They beat them out on the streets. I've seen them do it, okay? I mean, where's they make them cover themselves up and all this? That's what we're coming to in this country? Is that what they want here? I don't know. It's ridiculous, Millie. Absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Without a doubt. All right. Well, I'm going to have to wind it up here tonight. We've almost done about an hour and a half here. And I appreciate you all stopping in tonight on the Strange Train to hear me rattle on a little bit. But anyway, don't forget Friday night now, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Paranormal Point of View. You're going to have some wild stuff going on with that. You're going to definitely do not want to miss this episode, okay? And got a lot of movie reviews, got some good stuff to talk about. And don't forget, next Wednesday night at 8:00, not 9, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, my 2-hour seminar. I'm going to have two-hour seminar on how to hunt the shadows from this book, Beyond the Shadows. Going to be how to hunt the shadows. Then we're going to have another seminar next week, and then my seminars are going to go off for a while. Okay, I won't have any more seminars for a while. The next one after that, how to fight the shadows. And you're going to that's going to be the most interesting one, okay, because you definitely want to learn how to fight these shadows, okay? Thank you, Shiro. And thank you, Sweet Pea. The pendulum swings both ways, and they them are not going to like that being by, okay? That's exactly right, Michael. The Muslims have been doing that for years. Oh yeah, that's part of that's the religious fanaticism, you know. But what did I say about religion? It's a man-made thing. God does not condone that stuff. Okay, that's man-made stuff. Uh, Thank you, Night Girl. We're gone. Seminar sounds good. Yeah, the seminars. I'm looking forward to doing them, and we'll back if nothing happens. Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, 2 hour seminar. How to hunt the shadows. Okay. And I want you all to have a good rest of the week. We're going to roll into Friday, and I will see you back then if nothing happens. Be good and be aware. Be careful out there. And remember, I raised the parting glass, my friends, till once more we meet again. And until next time, remember, Veritas Inocita. That stands for truth and justice. And also embrace the mystery. Hunting the shadows.